Hey guys, what's going on? It's King Clutch here, and today guys, we're back on the NBA 2K20. I hope you guys are all having a great day and everything is going well for you guys. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing y'all how to build Kevin Garnett here in NBA 2K20. Now this build is kind of difficult to make. Now what I'm going to do for this build, you can make it at center or power forward. I'm going to go with a center though, just for badge purposes and to try to get as many badges as possible with this build. But overall this build is a deadly build. You could score with ease of this build in the post. You're going to be able to post score no matter what. So this build is deadly, guys. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly how I would build this Kevin Garnett build. Now what I would do for your skill breakdown is pick this one here, finishing in the playmaking pie chart. This way you'll have really good post moves. You can still have decent shooting abilities from your mid-range and your post fades. You'll be able to finish very well. Your defense isn't the best. I know Kevin Garnett was decently good at defense, but this build, you can make an extremely good post scorer this way, and I feel like this is one of the best, almost post scoring builds you can get, and you can score inside with extreme ease with this build. We're going to go with the finishing and the playmaking pie chart for this build. And now for the physical profile, honestly this kind of comes out of preference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the balanced one. I feel like for bigger builds, for bigs in general, the balanced pie chart is usually your best option, just because your strength is decently high. I mean, there's not a huge difference, but everything else isn't extraordinarily low. Like your vertical's high enough and everything. It's just better, I feel like, to go overall with the balanced pie chart. But you could definitely go like strength and vertical, or primarily strength and speed, really whatever you'd like. But overall I'd rather have the balanced build for a bigger build, so we're going to go with this physical profile here, which is the last one, which is the balanced physical profile. And now guys, for the attributes, this is where it gets extremely tricky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to max out my mid-range, my 3-point, and my post fade. That'll give me seven shooting badges. And then what I'm going to do for these finishing badges is I want to max out my close shot, my driving dunk, and my standing dunk. Now you'd say, oh, why not standing layup? I don't know how many times, or driving layup. I don't know how many times I'm going to shoot a driving layup with this build. I really don't know. That's really not my goal with this build. So what I'm going to do is also upgrade my pass accuracy and my post moves all the way. And then for my defense, I'm going to max out my interior D, my defensive and offensive rebounding. I'm going to throw the rest of these 37 onto my block to give me a 67 block. Now, I feel like overall that'll give you a good balanced build. You'll be able to play defense. And then the reason I didn't touch my ball handle, you can easily touch your ball handle, maybe in place of your block if you'd like. I just feel like the block is something I'd rather have, and those 7 defensive badges are better than per se that extra 1 playmaking badge, 8 defensive badges rather than that 1 playmaking. That's my opinion. And also, like, if you're gonna shoot hooks, you might want to upgrade your post hook, but with this build I wouldn't really plan on shooting many post hooks. So this is what I would go for these attributes, guys. You're pretty much maxing everything out except for your block in this case. And then that gives us 14 finishing, 7 shooting, 24 playmaking, and 9 defensive badges. Now guys, for the body shape, again, this doesn't matter. This is all personal preference. I'm going to go built, but you could do whatever you'd like. You could do burly, slight, whatever you'd like. I'm going to go with built, though, for this build. And now for the height, KG was 6'11", so that's why I'm going to make this build 6'11". Do not make it I wouldn't make it 7 foot. You can make it 7 foot. I wouldn't make it 7'3", though, and I wouldn't make it 6'9". That's just my opinion. I'm going to go with 6'11". This way we're getting a boost to our shooting stats. We're also getting a boost to some of our defensive stats along with our ball handling. Our driving dunk goes up quite a bit, and so does our speed. Now guys, for the weight, I guess there's multiple things you could do with this weight. I wouldn't suggest minimizing it. That is just my opinion. Now, Kevin Garnett is listed at 240 pounds. You can easily max this, and maxing it is an extremely good idea because it's going to help you with your strength, and you really don't lose anything. You lose vertical, and you lose some vertical and some excel by 2 if you were to max your weight. But to me, I don't want to max it all the way. You can really, I would say, go plus on your weight. You want to get more strength and more interior defense with this build because, again, that'll help you with your defense the higher you put that. So really what I like to do is always try to mess with the weight and try to find a decent spot in the middle where you don't take too many hits to one category, but you're getting a lot more pluses than you are minuses. So it looks like when I was messing with this earlier, if you go 279, you get a +5 to your interior D, you get a lot to your strength, you're up to 94, and as you guys can see here, when you go from 278 to 279, you're just getting a +1 in strength and not losing anything else. But if you go any higher, you start to taper off on vertical. I'm gonna go with 279, but also 240, which is right in the middle, which is KG's actual weight. You could go with that, but if you're gonna go with 240, I would suggest I think it was, just go a little bit higher up to 249 if you want to play with a little bit less weight is what I would go with. I would go with 249 if you don't want to go heavier, all the way up to 279, which is what I'm going to go with. Now for the wingspan, there's multiple options. Really, you can max it and then you'd be better defensively, but I don't want to take a hit in my shooting stats. KG's wingspan is only 83 inches, and thankfully that is the minimum for this build, so I'm going to go with an 83-inch wingspan because this will help my mid-range shot and my post moves, my post fade. It'll help me be able to shoot the ball better, and I also get a +1 to my strength, giving me a 95 strength, which is extraordinarily high for a 6'11 build. And you're a little bit smaller, so you might be able to push people back momentum-wise because you're a little bit smaller than maybe a 7'3 center. We're going to go with an 83-inch wingspan, guys, and then we are getting 2 choices for our takeover. You can either get playmaking take or post-scoring takeover. Both of these are really good options. I would suggest going post-score because that's what you're going to want to do with this build, but playmaking takeover could work with this build, and then if you were to do playmaking takeover, I would upgrade your ball handle a little bit. I'm not going to use playmaking takeover, but if you're picking it, I would upgrade your ball handle. I'm going to go with the post-scoring takeover for this build, though, so we'll be able to, back people down and shoot some fades, things like that. So we are going to go with the post-scoring takeover for this Kevin Garnett build, guys, and we are going to get a 2-way post playmaker, similar to Jokic, Vucevic, Nikola Bo, and I know it doesn't say KG, but overall I feel like this build represents Kevin Garnett extremely well, guys. We built a 2-way post playmaker, which I feel like represents what Kevin Garnett was. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the badges that I would throw on this build. We're going to rank this thing all the way up to a 99, and I'll go ahead and show you guys those badges for this. So for the finishing badges, I'm going to put Contact Finisher on Hall of Fame. I'm also going to put Back Down Punisher up to Gold. That's just my opinion. I feel like that's a good spot for it. I feel like Fancy Footwork is something you're going to want, along with Drop Stepper. I feel like you're going to shoot drop steps with this build. So you're going to want Drop Stepper on here. Also, Giant Slayer, I'd leave on Bronze, just because since you're making a 6'11 player, if you're going up against, say, a 7'3 center, you might want that just to have it. I feel like that is another good badge to have, and then along with Consistent Finisher and Slithery, but some of those you can throw up to Silver if you feel like you don't need them. But I feel like Contact and Back Down and Drop Stepper are the badges you're going to want no matter what, along with Fancy Footwork. Just with how OP the hop steps are this year. Giant Slayer is the one out of Consistent and Slithery I would keep, because if you're going up against a 7'3 center, you should be able to, hit layups a little bit better over them, just because you're shorter. You're 4 inches shorter, so I feel like Giant Slayer might be a good badge to have. And now, guys, for these shooting badges, what I would do is I'm going to put Quick Draw on Silver. That's just my opinion, especially when you're low on shooting badges. That is almost a necessity there. Also, I put Range Extender on Silver. I feel like Silver. Another good badge, I've put Corner Specialist on here, or Catch and Shoot, depending on, you could do both, or you could do one or the other, but if you're going to pick, I would say do Catch and Shoot, just because that should help from everywhere on the floor, but Corner Specialist would also be a good deal. I'm going to put Deadeye on here and Hot Zone Hunter, but you are more than welcome. I would say Deep Fades would also be another very, very good one, because you're going to be shooting fades with this build. Deep Fades would be great, and so would Hot Zone Hunter. But this is probably what I would do for my shooting badges for this build, but Catch and Shoot and Corner Specialist would also be some very good options for this build. For these playmaking badges, there isn't really many to choose from, just because you're using a center power forward type build. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Quick First Step up to Gold. I want Post Spin Technician up to Gold. Bailout might be something you'd want. I'd put that maybe on Bronze or Silver. Another thing that would be good to have would be Dream Shake. I feel like Dream Shake you're going to want. A lot of these too, you can bump up to Hall of Fame. You could bump all those up to Hall of Fame. I'd put Handles for Days on Silver, because you're going to be dribbling with this build and you don't want to lose energy because you're a center, you may not have as much. Overall, you're going to want that. And then another thing I would want on this build is I would want Unpluckable, Tight Handles, and Space Creator, just because in general, for most dribbling builds, you're going to want those. I feel like the rest of these, though, you could use Dimer. Dimer would also be a good one to have, because if you're posting someone up, you kick out to somebody and they would have a good option, a good percentage, a better percentage of making that shot. So I feel like Dimer would be a good badge to have. And what I would do is probably put Unpluckable up to Silver, and maybe Handles for Days up to Gold, and Dimer up to Gold. But you don't have many of these playmaking options to choose from, but I feel like these would be some good playmaking badges to have. Overall, and Needle Threader might work too, but overall I would say keep Dimer, because if you're passing to your teammates, you're going to want that, especially if you're passing out of the post and someone's open, you can give them to them and most likely your guard will make that shot. But I feel like for these Hall of Fame badges, those are some good ones to have. For the defensive badges, guys, I feel like Intimidator I'd put on Gold. Another badge I would want, I'd feel like Brick Wall you're going to want with this build. I feel like you're going to want Brick Wall with this build, along with Rim Protector. Those are 2 badges I would put up to Silver. And another one I think would be good would be Post Move, Lockdown, and then Rebound Chaser. Again, these levels might vary. You could take Intimidator and Brick Wall maybe down if you'd like, and put Rebound Chaser up a little bit higher, and Post Move Lockdown. Also, Chasing an Artist would probably be a good badge to have, at least maybe on Bronze. But again, that's more personal preference. You could do Chase Down and Brick Wall both on Bronze. But I feel like these are some good defensive badges for a Kevin Garnett build, especially if you're playing the 3. You're going to want Post Move Lockdown to help defend those bigger centers if they're posting you down. Your strength extremely high, so they shouldn't have too much of an easy time moving you. But overall, I feel like that would just be good to have just in case. And this is how I feel like you could build a Kevin Garnett-like build here in NBA 2K20, guys. And guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button for more NBA 2K20 builds and 2K21 builds here coming up soon. But anyways, guys, it's been King Clutch here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Anyways, have a great rest of your day and peace out, guys. Thanks.